Media attention is nothing new for C.O.D United. For the past few years, the club has been regularly featured in the media in Nigeria as it rose very quickly from the lowest rungs of league to Nigerian National League. And the victorious Lagos FA Cup win also generated a lot of attention for the club. However, it is the consistent innovation, forward thinking and continued support for young boys and girls that continues to propel the club forward that has generated the most attention. From setting up an 8-team structure comprising of under 10, under 12, under 14, under 16, under 18, under 21 and ladies, and the first team to appoint a former Manchester United and Bolton coach as its technical director, awarding scholarships to indigent young players, to setting up the first corporate hospitality suite in Nigerian League football. C.O.D United's resounding impact off the pitch has been a breath of fresh air, and naturally, the local media have followed the trail. The club's progress has now caught the attention of one of the biggest and most credible media outlets in the world, the BBC. Jim O'Neill, the former chairman of Goldman Sachs Asset Management and a renowned economist best known for coining BRIC, Brazil, Russia, India and China, led a production team to interview players and senior management on a BBC special feature program titled MINT, an acronym for Mexico, Indonesia, Nigeria and Turkey. A focus on 4 countries tipped to become global economic leaders in the next 10 years as a result of rapid economic growth and favorable demographics.
Yeah, we're making 4 programs altogether about countries which will one day be right up there at the top of the world sort of economic league. Jim O'Neill, who we're working with, invented the idea of the BRIC countries about 12 years ago. That's Brazil, Russia, India and China. And he kind of predicted the way the world was changing with the old countries like my country, Britain and America, having new competitors really in the world of global business. And so we've seen the rise of Brazil, Russia, India and China over those years. And now we're looking at which countries are going to come along next. Who are going to be the next world leaders for the economy? And Jim, who knows a lot more about this than I do, reckons that Mexico, Indonesia, Nigeria and Turkey stand a very good chance of getting to that kind of level at some point, maybe in the next 10, 15 years or so. And so we're making 4 programs on each of those countries, and we're here in Nigeria now to talk about Nigeria, and we've been spending the week talking to all sorts of different people, from top businessmen like Aliko Dangote right down to ordinary people in the streets, you know, football clubs like this one. Just trying to get a real flavour about what makes this country tick and why it can be the success if only it can try hard enough and if only it can solve the many problems that it has to solve. You've got a really good website. C.O.D United has a good website, and so if you're looking around for a club in Lagos, this is the first one you find when you look on the internet. So when I'm back in England, I'm thinking, well, which club am I going to talk to? I find the website for C.O.D United.
The BBC crew were particularly interested in C.O.D United's social impact, particularly its educational intervention program, where young, willing but indigent players are awarded educational scholarships to give them a chance of a bright, productive future on and off the pitch. After the interviews, the team took time to speak to CUTV, the club's online TV channel, and they had some interesting things to say about the club.
I just think the most impressive thing is this academy, you know, that you're taking kids from the age of 8 and you're teaching them not only football, but you're teaching them in school as well through the scholarship program. I think it's fantastic because, you know, so many of these children just would not get this opportunity otherwise. You know, without this kind of thing, you know, they have a chance obviously in football, and, you know, who knows, someone could go on to be, you know, the next Cristiano Ronaldo. And but, you know, so they have a chance through football, but they also have a chance through education. as well, and you put those two things together, and it's really important, for the future of these kids. And I think that's by far the most impressive thing I've seen.
Having interviewed Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, Nigeria's finance minister, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, and Lagos State Governor, Babatunde Fashola, who they enjoyed a game of football with, Jim and his team interviewed selected C.O.D United players and the executive director, Shola Ayekweku, in their quest to capture the progress being made in football, economically and socially in Nigeria, with the club as a prime example.
My name is Jim O'Neill. I'm here in Lagos to help the BBC make a documentary about Nigeria's future as part of a series on what we're calling the MINT countries: Mexico, Indonesia, Nigeria and Turkey. One of the things we wanted to focus on here is how football is developing in Nigeria and whether that's a sign of how Nigeria in general might be developing. So we're really eager to come to somewhere like this. So speaking to some of the youngest kids, I spoke to 3 of them that are on scholarships. In contrast to what you would often hear in the past in England, they didn't see it as football or education. They wanted to be footballers, but they still believed it was important to have an education, which I was a bit surprised about, and I was impressed by that. Talking to Shola, I think his vision and his rationale for creating the club is very, very smart. And I come from the world of finance. I used to spend nearly 20 years working for Goldman Sachs, famous investment bank. So my job was to think about big things changing. I can see 10 years from today that football will be a bigger commercial thing in Nigeria's football. And I like what's going on here. I like the fact it's new. I like the fact the guy that runs it has some sports marketing background. And I love the fact that you're sponsoring some kids to still carry on with their education and providing living support for them while they do that play here. So it feels good here. I like it.